Welcome to the Painting Coach, and today I'm going to show you how to paint a brand new Red Terra model. So a huge thank you to Games Workshop for sending this out to me. Without any further ado, let's get painting. So I've left the head separate from the body to make it a little easier to paint. Now I've also primed it using Hyrax Brown from Colourforge. If you haven't got this, don't worry, prime it black and then just paint the model with Rhinox hide paint. It's exactly the same effect. The first thing I want to do is introduce some of those really dark red tones into the model. And the colour I'm going to use for this is Vorbak Red. Now this is perfect because the coverage on this paint is absolutely awful. But that's okay, we're going to use that to our advantage. Now, I am using one of my Artist Opus Series D dry brushes, and what I'm looking to do here is two things. The first thing, along all of the skeleton of the model, I'm looking to just do a bit of a traditional dry brush here, so it catches those top edges. Now, when it goes on wet, it's fairly bright, but as it dries, it really does blend down into the colour underneath. The other thing I want to do is across the tail, I just kind of want to stipple it across those areas. I'm just focusing on the raised areas, leaving that darker colour in the recesses. Next up, I'm going to base all of the hard carapace, all the chitin, using Khorne Red. So I'm using a nice big brush for this. I'm using my size 4 Artist Opus Series S. Fantastic. I'll use this for most of the model, actually. And again, just take your time. Try not to spill this over the bits that you've already covered with that Vorbak Red. So again, when you come to the edges of the plates, just take your time. Now I've thinned this down a little bit with some water so it flows off the brush really nicely. And that means I am going to have to put 2 coats on, but that's absolutely fine. This is a nice, easy step. When that's completely dry, I'm going to take some Nuln Oil and I'm going to wash all of the carapace. Now, I'm not worrying too much about the tail here. So the tail, just leave that be, it's fine. But when it comes to the harder skeleton areas, I'm going to make sure I cover those with Nuln Oil and, of course, all that chitin as well. Now, it's really, really important that you don't let this pool heavily across the area because it's just going to make it a little bit more difficult. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to just keep an eye on that wash, make sure it doesn't pool. Just keep moving it round, don't let it settle too heavily, and don't put too much on at once. You're looking to get this into the recesses, you're looking to get it into the gaps and the transitions between all the plates. What you're not looking to do is make the model look as dark as possible. You just want to give it a little bit of a shade. So imagine you're painting a very, very thin layer across everything. When that's completely dry, we need to go back in and start highlighting all of that carapace and that chitin. The other thing we're going to do as well is also some of the exoskeleton and start to highlight the tail a little bit. We'll focus on the carapace first. What we're looking to do here is take that Khorne Red and we're looking to do lots of sharp, thin strokes towards the bottom of the armor and towards the top. Wherever we've got any gaps, we can drag our brush across those edges as well to get a nice crisp highlight. And essentially what this is doing is starting to build up that texture, and that'll help us get a really nice effect when we finish the model later on. Now it's important that you don't have a huge amount of paint on your brush here. Now I've gone down to a size 1 for this, just to make it a little bit easier and a little bit more accurate. You could certainly use your size 4 if you wanted. When it comes to the skeleton itself, again, you can see the paint is fairly wet. So I've thinned it down a bit, which means as it dries, it's going to blend into the layers underneath. And generally, I'm just following the shape of the most pronounced part of the skeleton on the model. I'm not putting too much paint on at all. When it comes to the tail, what I'm looking to do here is I'm looking to just paint a thin line. And now this is going to be inside the Vorbak Red that we put on in the first instance, but just a nice thin line of Khorne Red. Again, as it dries, it'll blend down. And this just gives you a nice highlight, and it's nice and subtle, so that when you look at the two different areas in comparison, so you've got the tail and you've got the carapace, we've used the same colors, but the effect is very, very different. Next up, we're going to do exactly the same using Wazdakka Red. Now again, I'm still using my size 1 Series S brush here. And again, what I'm looking to do is paint lots of sharp lines, but I'm keeping these inside the Khorne Red from the previous stage. So when it comes to that carapace, I'm being a lot more deliberate now. I'm making sure that it's inside the Khorne Red. I'm making sure that I'm not putting too much on because we don't want to paint the whole of the armor plate this color. We just want to do nice sharp lines. And again, you can move fairly quickly as you do this. And with the Wazdakka Red, it's not hugely different to the Khorne Red. If you do put it on too thickly, you can just use some Khorne Red just to pull it back a little bit. But again, you can work through this nice and quickly. It's a nice, easy stage. Again, I'm also going to use a small amount of this on the skeleton, inside the Khorne Red, very, very small amount, and on the tail, again, a very, very, very small amount, very, very thin line. The last highlight we're going to put on all of those armor plates is with Squig Orange. Now, this is just for the armor plates. It's not for the tail. It's not for the skeleton. So again, I've still got my size 1 Series S brush here, but you can see that the lines I'm painting are a lot thinner. They're inside that Wazdakka Red, but they're also a lot shorter in length. So they're not going the length of the plate. They're only going for a small amount. And I'm also really making sure to vary the length of it as well. Again, this builds up that texture on the chitin, makes it look really nice and textured. It also serves as a nice highlight. So use this fairly sparingly across the model. If you need to knock it back with the reds, then feel free to do so. Now, looking at the box art, there are some slightly more fleshy looking areas in terms of the joints of the claws and across the arms, and also where you've got some of those sharp pointed claws coming out of the arms as well. We've also got some spots across the model. So to keep these in a browny, fleshy effect, the first thing I'm going to do is layer them with Blood Reaver flesh. Now, it's important here you take your time. You don't want this to go over some of the red that you've already put down. The other thing I want to do with this is those massive claws that we've got coming out of the arms. We've got 3 on each side. I want to paint maybe half of these with the Blood Reaver flesh as well, because that's going to help us build up the transition from the brown into the bone color that you see on the box art. When that's completely dry, I'm going to wash them all using some Agrax Earthshade. Now, this includes washing the joints, but it also includes washing those massive claws as well. If I was a Tyrannid player, I'd know exactly what they're called. I just know that they're sharp, pointy, and you don't want to be anywhere near them at any point. But that, again, it's just going to build up some of that shadow recess, which is really, really nice. Once that's completely dry, take some Night Quester flesh and start to highlight these areas. Now, you don't need a huge amount on your brush here. You just need a very, very small amount. You're not looking to make these massively lighter. So we're going to be fairly sparing with our highlights just to make sure that they stand out and it's readable when we're looking at the model. When it comes to those massive claws, we're going to do this in every single one of them. We're going to really start to highlight them and paint that bottom half of the claw completely with the Night Quester flesh. We're also going to go back towards the end of the claw where it comes out of the arm. And we're just going to edge highlight that a little bit so we get a little bit of a transition. And this is how we're going to do all the claws. We're not going to do any wet blending. We're just going to use highlights to help with the blend and just to trick the eye a little bit. To finish the highlights on those areas, we're going to take a little bit of Bugman's Glow. Now, we're not going to use this on the claws. We're just going to use this on the soft, fleshy parts. I'm also going to drag my brush down those soft, fleshy parts you can see inside the carapace as well. And that's just going to help highlight those and give them a little bit of a different read when it comes to looking at them. Again, fairly sparing with this. We're not going to go too overboard. The other thing I'm going to do is paint the inside of the mouth with the Bugman's Glow. Now, I don't have to be too careful with the teeth, but I do have to be careful with the carapace I've already finished. So just take your time with this. We're going to paint over most of it anyway, but it's a good base to have. So moving on to all of the claws then, and he's got more claws than Santa. It is a huge amount of claws and spikes and barbs that you've got coming off this model. So we're going to base all of them using Xandri Dust. We just want to get a nice solid base coat on these. When it comes to the massive long claws, we need to be a bit more deliberate with these. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, take that Xandri Dust and I'm going to edge highlight all of those sharp edges. So that gives me kind of my playing field where I'm going to be painting inside. Next up, still using Xandri Dust, I'm going to very carefully drag my brush down towards the tip of all these claws from about 3/4 of the way back. And this is going to give me nice straight lines. Now this highlights some of the bits we've already done, but because we're working it in nice thin lines, it just builds up that texture again. And that's kind of what we're doing. You can see there you get a really nice effect without having to worry too much about blending. So I'm going back in and just kind of re-edge highlighting to make sure I've got a nice crisp highlight and that we haven't got too much of a gap between everything. We haven't got any areas with massive delineation. Now, for all of the barbs and claws apart from the big ones, we're just going to go in with some Seraphim Sepia and wash these just to get a little bit of a reddy brown into some of those recesses. It's going to help, in terms of matching the box art. If you haven't got this, you can use Agrax Earthshade here. It's absolutely fine. Now it's time for the final highlight. So we're going to start with the big massive claws first, and we're going to do exactly the same here as we did in the last step, except we're using some Screaming Skull. And we're going to highlight these from about halfway down. So again, we're doing the top edge, and then we're going to come back in and do the bottom edge as well. So that gives us the area that we're aiming for. Now, obviously, it can be a lot brighter at the bottom if we want it to be. That's absolutely fine. But once you've done those nice hard edges, again, we're just going to go in and we're going to paint this inside the Xandri dust from the previous stage. We're just going to paint lots of thin lines following the shape of the model down towards where it's going to be sharpest. And that gives you a little bit of texture in shows that this has grown and sprouted, and that's a really, really nice effect. The other thing we're going to do on all the other claws, and again, there are so many of them, we're just going to use that Screaming Skull. I'm going to drag our brush across those edges to get some nice crisp highlights, leaving the darker color in the recesses. So like I said, there's loads of these to do. So let's just go on and enjoy those really nice crisp edge highlights. Moving on to that gaping jaw, the first thing we're going to do is base coat all of that sinew with a purple, and the color I'm going to use for this is Xerius Purple. Now, this should cover quite nicely in one coat. Just take your time with this. Make sure you're careful around the bits you've already finished. Don't worry about getting it on the teeth at this point. We will paint the teeth exactly the same way as we painted all of the claws and the barbs. But at this point, it's okay. We don't have to worry about it. Make sure you get that tongue painted as well. Next up, we'll take some Genestealer Purple, an aptly named paint for painting Tyranids, it must be said. And what we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of that sinew that we've got in the mouth around those teeth. And this is, again, going to give us a nice lighter purple colour. The other thing we need to do here as well is we need to paint this into some of that Bugman's Glow that we've got on the mouth as well. So because the Bugman's Glow is a lot lighter, the Genestealer Purple will actually cover it quite nicely. And you'll start to build up a really nice effect with this as well. And then to finish up the highlighting, we're going to take some Emperor's Children, which is a nice bright pink. Keep this inside the Genestealer Purple from the previous stage and just work your way around building up that highlight. I'm not going to show you how to paint the teeth. I used exactly the same colors that I used on all the hooks and the barbs and the claws. So again, Xandri Dust and Screaming Skull. And also, when you're using the pink horror in the mouth, just make sure you highlight it into the Bugman's Glow, out into the purpley colours, and that's just going to smooth that highlight as well. And there we have it. The Red Terror is done and ready to absolutely terrorize the tabletop. So this was a nice, straightforward video in terms of the amount of colors we used. It's all about building up texture and brush technique. So I really, really do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave it a like and a comment down below. Don't forget to check out my other Tyraniid content here. I'll see you next time.